Yo, what's up, guys? It's Jack. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing with y'all my official Super Bowl prediction, and also I'm going to go through each position group on both teams and say who I think has the advantage between the Chiefs and the Eagles. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. At QB, this is probably closer than most of you guys think, but I'm going to go with the MVP, Patrick Mahomes here. I've honestly loved what Jalen Hurts has done all season, especially as my fantasy QB, but he has really evolved this year after a lot of people said he was not going to lead this team anywhere. And not only can he kill you with his arm talent, but he can also make things happen with his legs. And this will definitely be a close one, but I still have Mahomes as the better QB here. The playoff experience and poise that he has in the playoffs is unmatched. And it's going to take a lot for this Eagles defense to stop him specifically, and they'll definitely have their hands full. Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback already in this league, but Patrick Mahomes is just in a league of his own. So Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs get the edge here. Now, for running back, I think this is a toss-up, but I think the Eagles take this one. In my opinion, this game will come down to who can establish the run game more effectively, especially in those trenches. I think the game is going to be won here. This will allow these generational talents at QB to stretch the field with the play action. Miles Sanders has been honestly a pleasant surprise this season. He really bounced back. He made the Pro Bowl. He obviously didn't go to the Pro Bowl, but he was a Pro Bowler this year. And I will take him over Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon here. But I would not be surprised if either of these two guys had a big game as well. McKinnon at the end of the season was spectacular, and I could very much see him popping off in the Super Bowl. But I'm going to take Miles Sanders over these two here. Moving on next to the wide receiver rooms on each team, I think this is a no-brainer. You guys may disagree, but I'm going to go with the Eagles here. The lethal duo of Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown is just way better than Smith-Schuster, Valdez-Scantling, and Kadarius Toney. I loved the deal that they made with the Tennessee Titans to trade A.J. Brown and to add him to this roster. And I think he is one of the main reasons why Jalen Hurts has excelled this season. He is a true number one wide receiver. And we saw this with how Stephon Diggs elevated the play of Josh Allen a few years ago. I think that is the formula to success for a young quarterback, and we have seen that with Jalen Hurts this season. And while Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a great game in the AFC Championship, I still think the Eagles wide receivers are much more talented than what the Chiefs have on their side. Up next is the tight end, and this might be the biggest X factor in this entire game, period. The guy I'm talking about might be the greatest catching tight end of all time, and you can debate me on that. You already know I'm talking about Travis Kelce. And I'm not knocking on Dallas Goedert by any means, because he's been quite solid too, and I think he could have a good game as well. But what this man, Travis Kelce, has been doing on a week-to-week, year-to-year basis is genuinely insane. I saw it for myself when I went to the Chargers-Chiefs games week 11. This guy single-handedly beat the Chargers. 3 touchdowns, 115 receiving yards. Like, he's been Mahomes' go-to target for years, and I don't see that changing here. They are definitely going to run their offense through him. The Eagles will certainly have their hands full with this duo of Mahomes and Kelce, and their key to success in this game is slowing down those two guys. Granted, very few teams have been able to do that in Mahomes' entire career, but if any team was to do it, it would be this Eagles defense. But for tight ends, Kelce is way better than Dallas Goedert, so I have the Chiefs with the advantage here. Moving right along here, we have the offensive line for both teams, and this is probably the closest, maybe out of any position group on both these teams, as both offensive lines are really, really solid. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Eagles here. Again, both offensive lines are top 10, in my opinion, with guys like Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, Jordan Mailata, and Lane Johnson on both sides. But in my opinion, the Eagles are more complete up front. They don't have as many holes. And if they can give Miles Sanders holes to run through, and they can give Jalen Hurts time to throw, the Chiefs will most certainly be in trouble. The Bengals' main issue in the AFC Championship was the fact that they could not protect Joe Burrow whatsoever, and Chris Jones and others were feasting on that Bengals' weak offensive line. So if the Eagles can hold Chris Jones and that Chiefs front seven, they will most certainly be in good shape. And I have them with the advantage here. But with that being said, both offensive lines are very good. Now, we're just going to include linebackers and interior and edge players here in the front seven. And the Eagles and Chiefs are honestly both pretty equal in this category as well. And there's so many big names to talk about on both sides. Like, I could be here for hours. Chris Jones, Brandon Graham, Javon Hargrave, Nick Bolton, Hassan Reddick, just to name a few. But once again, I have to give the very slight edge to the Eagles on this one. When you have 4 players on that defensive line reach 10-plus sacks during the regular season, it's quite hard not to give it to them. I will say, though, as we saw in the AFC Championship, Chris Jones has the ability to completely change this game, and I would definitely keep an eye out for number 95 in this game. For the secondary on both sides, I'm just going to include the cornerbacks and the safeties to make it easy. We're going to chalk it up as a tie here, actually. There are also a ton of playmakers at both of these positions for both teams. You have Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for Philly. And on the other side, you have Justin Reed, Juan Thornhill, and rookie first-round pick out of Washington, Trent McDuffie, who has been very good as of recently. And obviously, the cornerback duo of Bradbury and Slay is very dangerous. But the Chiefs secondary has stepped up tremendously as of late. So I'm interested to see how both of these teams will be able to move the football on, quite frankly, 2 very solid secondaries. So neither team really has the advantage here, to be completely honest. I'm going to chalk it up as a tie. Now, we're just going to lump these two into one. Special teams, very simple. That's the Chiefs. Jake Elliott has been at best, and Harrison Butker, definitely one of the most consistent kickers in all of football, and he has been for a while. And he also provides value on kickoffs as well, where he's posted the longest kickoff average this season, which is something to note. And on the coaching side of things, it's definitely the Chiefs. And I don't want to hate on Nick Sirianni here, because he's come a long way from that awkward, terrible first press conference he had at the beginning of the season. He's been very good, and he was a candidate for Coach of the Year. Andy Reid just has way more coaching experience than Nick Sirianni, and he always has a great game plan no matter who the Chiefs play. So I have the Chiefs with the advantage on the coaching side of things. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video, you guys. Based off all those position evaluations I just gave, my official prediction is going to be 35-31 Eagles. Now, the line is very close. I think the Eagles are favored by like 1.5 in this game, so I could very much see this going either way. It depends on, honestly, the run game and the offensive and defensive line, in my opinion. Whichever team controls the tempo of the game and wins up front will win this game. So we will see what happens. I hope you all enjoyed this video as always, and I'll see you next time. Peace!